Moving on now. Moving on now, guys. The stage that we're at, we have all of our files ready for import. So I already opened up Illustrator, and I'm going to start setting this up. So I mentioned to you while you were working that I'm going to set it up on a large sheet and then make everything the 1/4 inch equals a foot that I exported it to be. So I'm going to go to File and New, and just make sure that I'm working on something that's rather large. If all of my views were exported on 11 by 17s, I probably need something that's about 3 11 by 17s wide, maybe-ish. So what I'm going to start with is something that is 36 inches wide and 24 inches high. That's just to get started. And I like to turn my rulers on almost instantly. So for the line work, I mentioned that when you export to a DWG and then you import your line work, you have to open the line work and then copy and paste it in. But since I exported them to Illustrator files, I'm wondering if it'll keep my, my layers associated. So I'm just going to test that real quick and make sure. So I'll go to my folder and I'm going to drop in one of the elevations that I know has, I'm lagging, has layers. Oh, great. Great. All right, hang on. All right, continuing on. So rather than, it looks like it was giving me an error upon import. I don't know what the error is about. But basically, I just opened it, and so I'm going to open and copy them in, which is what I wanted to do, or what I have been doing anyway, because then I can get the layers. So I'll just start copying and pasting them in. And oh, they're large. That doesn't seem right. Let's see, 50 feet. Where's my calculator? 50 times 0.25 is 12.5 inches. Actually, that does seem right. Yeah. All right, well, I'll drop them on here, and then I'll scale, scale them so that I can work on this sheet size. So that's one. I'm going to open the other, so I'll just go to File, Open. I'll get that, the legend, west elevation. There we go. All right. So starting with the west elevation, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to pause the video while I do this and get it on the sheet, just because it's boring stuff. All right, back to the drawing, everyone. So what I did was I basically just copied and pasted all the line work drawings that I wanted to put on the sheet, and I realized that 1/4 inch equals a foot, the way I exported it, is too big. So really, if I want to just start scaling it down little by little, I can just make sure that I select everything, make sure none of your layers are turned off, and just get everything that you know is a part of your drawings, like those, and you can scale it down by percentage. Transform, scale. And if you change your percentage to 50%, for instance, you're going to be reducing it by from 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch. So I think you guys have enough practice with your scales now that you understand that. So then you hit OK, and it scales down to something that's approximately this size, which is what I was more expecting.
Because we open the file and then we Control-C, Control-V. Yeah. So we're
That's,
going to have to scale it to 1/4 inch, right?
That's what I did. If you're off scale when you export, then you're going to have to do it by measuring how far it needs to be. A good way to measure that would be to basically take the length of the building, which is 50 feet, and multiply it by 0.125, which is 1/8 of an inch, essentially. So 50 times 0.125 is 6.25. So that's the width of your building. And as long as you scale everything referentially the same way, then you should be fine. All you'll have to do is just pull this to 6.25, grab all of your geometry, and then make sure that you edge that out and then scale it up to match. So you got to kind of finagle it to get it to be 6.25 wide. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's what we're doing. Or should I pause and wait for you? I should probably pause and wait for you guys to get here, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. The other thing that you can do if any of you guys are slightly ahead is you can start to bring in the backdrop files as well. So basically those I believe you can just place, although they're PDFs. I might want to pass them through Photoshop. I might not, I haven't decided yet. So basically you can just place those like this. And since they are, oh, you should also, let me just kind of go back a step. Before placing those, I would say you want to create a separate distinctive layer for them. So click on the layer, create new layer button, and then I usually name each one. So I'll call this one South Elevation BG for the background of the south elevation. Make sure it is selected when I go to place, and then do South Radiation Study, put it here, and now it's on that layer. Additionally, I will have to scale this down just like the others. So I'll transform it and scale it 50%. Now you'll see that, if you guys want to do this now, you don't have to, will just very easily slide right behind the drawing itself. That's it. Okay, so if you want to start moving ahead doing that while we're all getting caught up, you can do that now. And in fact, I think I will.